First thing you need to do is to speak to your former partner about it. Most families, the children see both parents, and quite rightly so. A move abroad is clearly going to be a very significant development in the children's lives, and it has to be planned through properly. You should, if at all possible, try to plan that with your partner before you involve the children in it and before you tell them about what's going to happen. So that's absolutely critical. Communication is key, as it is with so much in family cases.
So what are the practical steps? What should I really be thinking about?
You need to have a carefully thought through plan. That plan needs to cover obviously where you're going to live. It's going to have to cover schooling, healthcare. Countries have different healthcare opportunities. And it's going to have to cover, most importantly, how you're going to promote the ongoing relationship with the parent that's going to be left behind. I mean, this is an enormously difficult thing. It can be heart-rending for a parent left behind to have to see the children less regularly, which is an almost inevitable consequence of a move abroad. So have a think about travel arrangements. Find out whether the airlines can have children accompanied so they can travel on their own and be met at the airport. Look at Skype. Look at other communications and regular telephone calls. You've got to have a plan, and of course, importantly, if the reason for you moving abroad is to try and stop or get in the way of a proper relationship, you're not going to get permission.
And do most court applications actually succeed?
Generally speaking, until recently at least, England was thought to be quite generous in allowing parents, primary carers, to move abroad with their children. I mean, in some countries it's really difficult to get permission to go abroad. Now, recent cases have suggested that particularly where there's shared care, so where the children spend quite a lot of time with the parent who's going to be staying behind, it is going to be more difficult to persuade the court. But it's even more critical if you're doing that you have a proper plan and that you've got the contact arrangements for the future really thought through and hopefully agreed with your former partner.
What happens if I decide to move my children within the UK but without telling my spouse first?
You don't need legal permission from the court to move within the UK, but of course you'd want to get permission from your former partner. The same considerations apply as going abroad, and you've got to bear in mind that if you live, for example, in Kent and you were thinking of moving to northern France, you'd need permission, but you don't need permission from the court to go to northern Scotland, even though it's far further away and the contact arrangements might be more difficult. So certainly speak to your former partner, communicate, talk, and involve your former partner before you start telling the children what the plans are, because if you're not able to go, then they're going to be very upset by the whole process.
What happens if I try and move the children and don't tell my former partner?
Well, if your former partner gets wind that you're upping sticks and going without any consultation, he or she can make an application to the court for what's called a prohibited steps order. And the court will almost certainly stop you going, at least until it's properly investigated. But generally speaking, the courts will give permission to moves within the UK unless there's a very good reason for it not happening and unless the real motivation for you going is to get in the way of the relationship with the parent who's staying behind.